How the hell y'all feeling right now?
Yo, this is Neville Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it?
What is up, Cowboys Nation and Cowboys Cave members? Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. We was having some technical difficulties, but let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. Wasn't able to hear Mike. It was kind of going in and out, and then so he is going to be jumping on shortly. Just had to jump off, and then he's jumping on with his phone. Is the sound okay? Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me? Yes. All right. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. I hear you, homie. All right. Good deal. All right. Well, so we got it looks like Mike's jumping in here. So let me bring him on in.
Can you hear me?
Well, we done switched names. I got mine as Mike, and you got yours as Kelly K9.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not. Hang on just a second, Mike. Maybe this is on my thing.
Can people hear me? Can the people in the crowd hear me?
Hang on. Maybe this is something on my end, buddy.
Boy, if this is you, I'm going to slap you.
Maybe this is on my end after all. I'm getting no sound here, but hold on, Mike.
Everybody can hear me. Oh my God!
And you can't hear me. Hang on just a second.
You got to see what's going on with the cave. I've torn this whole place apart because he couldn't hear me, and we're here. But more importantly, you guys see we got the. Now they're saying they can't hear me. They said my volume's low. I got it up high. I mean, the bad thing is I'm going through my phone. I'd rather be going through my computer. So I'm going to jump back through my computer. So I'm gonna log out and just jump back through my computer.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Having some problems. Anyway, guys, I know y'all can hear me. I can't hear Mike. I don't know what's going on, but we have entered a different dimension. I don't really know what's going on. I'll tell you what. I'm going to pop a beer and try to figure this out. But Cowboys Nation, all right, here we go. We are coming off. First of all, I want to show you guys the merch is officially dropped. The Cowboys Cave merch has dropped. We got this going on. The t-shirts came out. They're here, ready for you guys to purchase at Twisted Gorilla, our sponsor. Good gift for you guys to get for your significant others or your friends or family. Fred Jones says his is in the mail already. We appreciate that, sir. But they're out, and you can officially go and cop that. Let me try to do something here with Mike. Bring him back on.
Can you guys hear me in the chat or no?
And Mike is on now. We're just having all kinds of difficulties today, but guys,
so they can't hear me.
Chris says he got his shirt today. Well, yeah. So you guys can go to Twisted Gorilla. You guys can pick these up off Twisted Gorilla. We are.
Well, Kelly,
are you guys able to hear Mike now?
They say they can hear me.
Okay, now they can hear Mike.
What the hell's going on around this place?
All right, Mike, I'm gonna pop off and pop back on, see if I can fix my sound issue.
All right, if you guys got it, if you can hear me, hopefully you can hear me. I mean, I've torn up my room because I thought all the audio problems were on me, and now I'm actually just going from my laptop, so I'm doing things a little differently. But you guys can hear me, so Kelly's mic's running in his fish. Yeah, and you see why we need this help. You see why we need some shirts bought. You see why we need you guys supporting the Cowboys Cave, because my man's got to get some proper equipment so he can be doing things. So, hey guys, we appreciate it. This is this is live. This is what happens when you're dealing with live stuff. You got real life problems, kind of like the Eagles when we slapped them around. But we've got, we're going to look ahead. We're not going to look back. And I see Danielle, a Buffalo Bill fan, is in the chat. You guys be nice to her. Don't be too mean. But her family's Buffalo Bills, so I'm gonna feel bad for the beating that we're gonna put on them on Sunday. But realistically, how are you guys feeling? And definitely gonna get Kelly in here to get his opinions. But how are you guys feeling about this Bills game? They come off a nice win. Sorry, Danielle. They come off a nice win against the Chiefs. It was kind of a weird game. They jumped ahead. Chiefs came back. And now you're getting, the Cowboys are winning 5 straight. Had a lot of home games, and we've been unbeatable at home. But now you're going on the road, facing, what they like to call an unfamiliar, uncommon opponent. Buffalo Bills need to win desperately. Obviously, the Cowboys need to win as well, but they're pretty much they're in the playoffs. But what I posted yesterday, or maybe it was today, I'm still getting over a sickness, but do you guys remember 4 years ago when Buffalo came to town on Thanksgiving? And to me, they embarrassed us on national TV. They went ahead and mocked us, beat us up pretty bad, and you got to take that, right? If you get the beating, you got to be able to take it. I'm sorry. I see everyone in the chat, but Kelly's got me going remote, so it's hard for me to flip this over. So that's what he was going to be doing. Is he back? Did he not come in? Kelly, you there? You still thinking? You still looking, Kelly? No, he's got a serious look on his face. He's focused on the game. But do you guys remember the beating that they gave us, and the mocking and the laughing? And they were doing the feed Zeke, and then they were doing the Dak Prescott, pregame thing. I don't know if that still pisses you guys off, but it still pisses me off. And I would love nothing more to rub it right back in their face and give them the beating back that they gave us. And I know it's been 4 years. Some people say, Mike, you got to get over it. Most of the people ain't even on the team that was on that. But damn it, as a fan, I remember it. I didn't like it. Hopefully you guys didn't like it. And looking from the from the chat, you guys didn't like that either. And that's how you get some of this hatred in the rivalry. And I don't want to call the Bills a rival because we beat the hell out of them in the Super Bowl every time. I almost want to send them flowers and a gift basket, thanking them for a couple rings, even though we were the better team. Let's just be honest. But, they definitely made our lives a hell of a lot easier, especially in that first Super Bowl when we beat them down. So, excuse me, I'm getting a little bit over my cold. But anyway, looking at this game, if we're being serious, and I don't see, someone I don't see in the chat, I don't see my man. Where's my man Ultra? The flip flopper. I haven't seen the flip flopper yet. No, and the 49ers have not beat the crap out of us 3 straight. They beat the crap out of us this year. I wouldn't call the playoff game beating the crap out of us, and really the other one I wouldn't, because it came down to last possession. So I don't know if that's a 49er fan hanging out in the cave because they know there's trouble coming, but that's just the way it is. And I give 49ers their credit, man. 49ers are playing good football right now. They're not invincible. They lost 3 games. I think they lost to the Browns. I don't know who the hell else they lost to, but they weren't very good. So all of that, it's like I tell people, when you get in the playoffs, all it takes is one. You just got to be good on that day. 49ers are a great team. They're probably, like I said, if you're going to do the power rankings, I'm going to put them up at number 1. I'm going to give them the respect. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, we can't beat them or we can't do that. But anyway, that's for another day. Let's talk about Buffalo. Let's talk about Buffalo. And how do you guys feel about this game? It's Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. That's what gets the headlines. What I never understand is Josh Allen always seems to get a pass.
all the turnovers he's done, all the other things that he, the losses that he's accumulated, the really lack of playoff success that he's had. Why is he all of a sudden? Why does he always get the pass in the media, but Dak Prescott doesn't? I have no idea. Well, I do know why. It's because Dak Prescott wears a star in his helmet. But the bottom line is Dak Prescott's playing at an elite level right now. And I know there's this MVP talk, and I don't know how you guys – I could care less about the MVP. Give it to Purdy. Give it to Tyreek. Give it to whoever the hell you want, McCaffrey, whoever you want to give it to. All I care about is winning. And I think when you're winning, everything else kind of takes care of itself. So that's what I want to see with Dak Prescott. Continue to stay focused. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. We've talked about it week in and week out. He definitely feels different. And I talked about it a little bit this morning on the show, is if you heard James Jones, he talked about it on the NFL Network. He said when Mike McCarthy gets hold of this offense before the season, he says you're going to see a different Dak Prescott. And you've seen a different Dak Prescott. And you see the success that Mike, McCarthy, did I say Holmgren? I don't know if I did. But you see the success that Holmgren or McCarthy has on quarterbacks, and the ones Aaron Rodgers, obviously Brett Favre, and then he had people forget and Aaron Brooks in New Orleans, who had really good years in New Orleans with McCarthy there. Then obviously he was in Kansas City. He worked with Joe Montana. He was in San Francisco. So he has done a really good job. And we had George Teague on the show Monday, and George Teague even talked about he had the opportunity working with CBS and working with the Dallas Cowboys to go in to the quarterback room during off season and just kind of observe and kind of see what's going on. And he even came back just very impressed with McCarthy as kind of what I would call a quarterback guru or whatever you want to call it. But you see the game of Dak Prescott. And the other thing that you see with McCarthy is you see what he's done with the offense. You see what he's done with the weapons. He's getting everyone involved, and he's evolving the offense to suit certain players if they see certain things. The way it was with Garrett, it was, hey, this is the way it is. They're gonna throw a square peg in a round hole, and that's just the way it is. Where you see McCarthy's making those adjustments. He's listening to the receivers. If they see something like Cooks kept seeing it, got him involved, and he's been making a big impact. So that's what I love to see with this offense, and I just think it's going to continue. So when we look at the Bills and we look at the Dolphins and we look at the Lions and then we look at Washington the last 4 games, I said, well, maybe we drop one, but I wouldn't surprise me if we just win them all. And then you're winning 9 straight going to the playoffs. I'm feeling pretty damn good. I don't know about you guys. So what do you guys see in the Bills? What do you see in the Bills that may concern you? What is, the running game has been hasn't been great. Obviously, they got Stephon Diggs. You got Josh Allen. The defense is middle of the road. So when you think about it, it's like, going to Buffalo, what is concerning me? The weather? It looks like it's going to be 40 degrees. The weather's going to be great. You couldn't ask for it. So it's just kind of making you wonder, did the football gods come down and love it on the Dallas Cowboys? And just kind of with the Jimmy Johnson Ring of Honor, it just seems like everything else is kind of fallen into place. It's fallen into place. Let's see. James Cook. Watch James Cook out of the backfield. He's been a weapon for him. He's been a weapon for him. I've told, and correct me if I'm wrong, the weather in Buffalo is supposed to be 40 degrees and pleasant. Josh Allen running. There was a tweet about that. It said you better be careful of Josh Allen. So do you feel we've got the defense to contain him? Do you feel, you look at some of the mobile quarterbacks, that's the thing that's kind of given Dallas trouble years past, but I haven't really seen that. I mean, Hurts really didn't do much. Some of it is we were beating the hell out of him, so they didn't really get the opportunity. But even in the first game, I don't think he killed us. And I'm just trying to think of any of the mobile quarterbacks that we went up against that had big games against us. Even Daniel Jones, I'm trying to think if, he liked to run. But again, we jumped up on those teams. That's probably the key to it, is if you can jump up on these guys. But I think we've got the speed on the defense to neutralize Josh Allen. And it's like, someone said in the post as I'm sticking through it is he hadn't faced a lion yet. He hadn't faced someone with that speed and, of course, that nastiness. So if he's going to run, he better be very careful and he better be ready because if he runs, there could be a problem. Let me see if we got Kelly in here. Hopefully we got him going. Kelly, you there?
Hallelujah! I can hear the powers of sound.
You son of a bitch! You got to see this room that I did. I've been cursing you on here the last 20 minutes, but you know what? It took a few minutes. We got it going good. We've been talking about the Bills and the Cowboys, so you're back. I held down the fort as long as I can, but thank God we got some connection.
Well, it had to have been something with Restream, man.
It could. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to blame you, but I did say this is why we need them to support the cave. We got the new gear, help donate to the cause so we can upgrade some of this equipment because one of us is having some trouble. So
that is true. Well, we got it now. We got the sound going back now. We're
right.
good.
Well, you control the chat because I can't. It's hard for me to control it. So that's going to be your job to get these guys involved because we got a lot of people hopping in. But we're talking about the Bills Cowboys, and I mentioned I wanted to get your opinion on it. 4 years ago, and I hate to live in the past. I know that's what Cowboy fans do, but I don't know if you remember that Thanksgiving Day game where they really put it on us and they were mocking Dak Prescott, mocking Zeke, mocking our team. And really having a way with us. So that still sticks in my craw. That still gets me upset as a Cowboy fan. And when I saw us playing them this year, I would love nothing more for us just to go up there and beat the hell out of them and then rub it in their face a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they have any celebration dances or any celebration, little things that they do, but I would definitely like to see some payback. I mean, Dak was on that team. That Cowboys team. So certainly he remembers.
Dak, you had Tank. I mean, Zach. I mean, you had some of these guys. Now, granted, some of them weren't, but
Well, the thing is, man, that it was one of those things where we don't even play the Bills that often, and I was kind of surprised at. Like what, I get it. We beat the dog shit out of them in a Super Bowl. Yes. And then maybe, but most of those players weren't old enough to really, remember that, I wouldn't think. So I don't think that really had anything. I guess it's just that the Dallas Cowboys, we were riding high. We were having a good season. We had a terrible game that game and just got outplayed and out physical. I don't see that happening this time around, though. And you're right, though. That game has stuck with me, man, because outside of the Super Bowl, really, I don't really think about Buffalo. No. And I don't think about Buffalo as being a team that I don't like. But ever since that game, I've been waiting. I've been waiting because I want the Cowboys to go into their house like they came into ours and give them a little slice of humble pie and shove it right down their Buffalo Bill pie holes.
And that's what we're talking. And then we absolutely, I couldn't have said it better. And then we talked a little bit about Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. Obviously, Allen, he seems to get the pass, right? We talked a little bit about that. It doesn't seem like the media hates on him as much as they do Dak Prescott. When Dak Prescott, you could argue has had a better career. Has had better numbers. Their playoff success is the same. Neither one of them's gotten past, the divisional round. So it is what it is. I think hopefully that changes, especially for the Cowboys this season. We get to the Super Bowl. We don't want to get to the Super Bowl. We want to win the Super Bowl. Let's be clear about that. We're not counting MVP votes as something that's special. We're not counting. I don't know if you were the one who are mixing it up with someone that said that Jalen Hurts got 2 MVP votes. That just makes him elite. So we don't play that game. You keep all the awards all you want. We want the Lombardis, but
bunch of dumb shit.
So what's your take on the matchup? Because it always comes down to the quarterbacks. It's going to be Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. I mean, how do you kind of see that playing itself out?
Well, I mean, it's always going to be a battle of the quarterbacks. That's always what it is. That's what the NFL, they live to hype up the quarterbacks. It's a quarterback-driven league, so it's all about the quarterbacks. I mean, look, right now, Dak Prescott's playing consistently good since that Week 5, that Niners game. Dak Prescott has played consistently good football. Now, obviously, we dropped that game against the Eagles, but we're on a 5-game win streak here where Dak Prescott has literally instilled confidence, not only in this fan base, but in this team as well. You watch Dak Prescott going up and down the sideline and talking to the defense after the offense does their job. You watch Dak Prescott in the huddles and listen and watch those, the sounds from the sideline. Listen to some of the things Dak is telling his teammates and the way that he's talking to them. He is a natural leader on the field, and he's become the field general on both sides of the ball. Remember times in past, we've talked about Dak being a leader and always saying the right things, but now he is leading by example. Like, he is the man right now. He is the unquestioned leader on this team. For a while at the beginning of the season, I remember me and you and a few other people, we talked about it. We said, is Micah Parsons the leader? Like, who's the guy that's the leader? Well, Dak Prescott is. He has grabbed the reins of this team. He has full control of this team. They're 10-3. They're rolling. He's playing consistent football, and you just have faith that he's going to make the right play. So, as a Cowboys fan, as a teammate, as a coach, you've got to love the way Dak Prescott's playing right now. And I would put him up against any quarterback in the league right now and have full confidence that if our defense doesn't have a great day, Dak will have a great day.
No, well said. I couldn't agree with it more. And, the Bills, and I see in the comment, Bills are 2.5-point favorites at home. That's basically Dallas is the favorite on a neutral site, but it's a road game. Dallas, there's that weird stat, and I was trying to look it up, and I thought, well, no, we beat Carolina, but that is on turf. Dallas has not won a game on natural grass. Have you heard that? Is that
right?
In the chat? Does that seem accurate? And what you guys say? I know they made a big deal about it in the playoffs against the Tampa Bay Bucks, but it didn't seem like it really bothered them then. So I meant to ask. We had George Teague on Monday, and I meant to ask him that. Is there anything to that, or is it just? Here's the thing: they lost to the 49ers on grass, pretty damn good football team on the road. They lost to Philly on grass, good football team on the road, and I think they lost to Arizona on grass. That's inexcusable. Let's just be honest with ourselves. So I can't justify that one, even though we had 3 offensive linemen out. You can't do that. So I don't know. I don't know if that means anything, but
I don't think it does, because here's the thing: we played a pretty damn good game in Philly. We should have won that game. And if the Cowboys, if it's not for a couple of plays that don't go our way, we win that game. I don't buy that the Cowboys team is one of those teams that can only play on turf and they need that fast. I do believe that it's conducive to the style of football they play.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we play better at home and why we look a little different at home sometimes. But I still think, when it comes down to it, you're lining up, you got your 11 on their 11. I think our Cowboys are going to be just fine.
Yeah. No. And
grass or not, I think they'll be fine.
And looking at, I was kind of just bumping through some of the stuff. So, offensive rank, obviously we're ranked higher than them. But, they've been putting up some numbers. Defense, they're kind of middle of the pack, and we're obviously top 3. I'm just trying to think of how this game goes. And there was a question saying, "Hey, Mike and Kelly, do you think we can really run the table?" And I'm not ultra. I'm not gonna be a flip flopper. I told you guys after into the Philly game, I thought Dallas is gonna drop 1. I just winning 9 in a row. That's hard to do. It's hard to do, and you got 3 of the 4 games left on the road. That's hard to do. But I'm gonna say this: looking at the team and looking at how they're playing and the teams that they're playing, I think the matchups are great. I think with Dallas, Buffalo don't want to go toe-to-toe with us. They don't want to go toe-to-toe offensively. They're not going to win a shootout against us, and our defense is much better than theirs, so they don't want to get into that because eventually Josh Allen's going to turn the ball over. We're going to make him pay. So I think this game bodes well for Dallas. And then I look at the Miami game. I'm not trying to go too far yet, but the Miami game was the one that I had circled. And I look at the Miami team, and I'm watching their games, and they got the speed. They can definitely ramp it up with us. They can keep up with us if their offense is clicking. But I don't think their defense can do it. So the difference I keep saying is defense. Defense carries, defense travels. If this defense continues to play where it's at, they can beat anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's and that's the thing is we've the defense is good. I mean, they've been good all year, and I know that there's this prevailing theory out there that the defense, they're like, well, wait, look at what that defense looks like when they play, when they play some of the better quarterbacks. Well, that's any defense is going to look a little different when they play a great quarterback compared to when they play a Daniel Jones or a Zach. I mean, that's the NFL, right? That's just the NFL. But here's the thing. Sam Howell is he's top 5 in passing yardage. What did Sam Howell do against this defense? We played Justin Herbert, who was heralded as a top 10, arguably a top 5 quarterback in some people's minds. We held him in check. What did he do against this defense? Okay, so Jalen Hurts, I mean, just recently, Jalen Hurts, Sunday night, he didn't even score an offensive touchdown. So for people to sit there and say, well, this defense, whenever they play an elite quarterback, well, this defense doesn't look like the defense. Well, I challenge that and say that's absolutely wrong. I mean, I just saw the Eagles come into AT&T Stadium and be unable to score a single touchdown the entire game with the guy that many had in the top running for MVP, because Jalen Hurts was getting a lot of MVP talk. That's fallen off now with the loss of the Niners, the loss of the Cowboys. But just 2 weeks ago, Jalen Hurts was one of the front runners for MVP.
Yeah.
Came into Dallas, didn't score an offensive touchdown. So don't sit there and tell me that our defense can't hold their own against elite quarterbacks. And when you're talking about Josh Allen, I get it. Arm strength is there. The arm strength is huge. He's got a cannon for an arm. The guy has thrown a touchdown or an interception in every single game but 2.
Yeah.
Every single game. Think about that. It's 13 games, 11 games he's thrown an interception in. That's a lot of turnovers, man. And you're going up against a team that is at the top of the league in turnovers. I mean, you don't think Dallas is going to get him to turn the ball over at least once?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is usually these kind of games come down to who makes the least mistakes. So if Dak Prescott continues to play like he's playing and doesn't turn the ball over, and the Bills turn the ball over, I mean, that's the thing. Win the battle of the turnovers on the road. And I think this Cowboys team is going to win the battle of the turnovers in this matchup.
Yeah.
And so to answer the question about running the table, I do think we can run the table. Beginning of the season, I had us at 13-4. I think we can hit 14-3. I really do. If this Cowboys team keeps playing like they're playing right now, I don't see anybody beating us but us.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm glad we got a great chat, because they help your boy, because I'm not great at everything, and sometimes I read things and maybe I read it wrong, but I thought I read where the Bills stadium was grass. I guess it's transitioning to grass later, but it's turf. So I'll stand corrected on that. So then we definitely got to win. What the hell are we worried about? We're going to beat their ass. So I know Miami's grass. Maybe I got confused there, but anyway, looking at this defense, like you said, you're facing Josh Allen, and give him his due, whatever. But when you're turning the ball over, it's what do we do with the turnovers? And we have made teams pay. We've made teams pay with turnovers. Obviously, Bland with the pick sixes, they get a lot of run. But how many others turnovers? I mean, those are impactful plays, and we've been able to capitalize on them a lot. So that's the credit to the offense side of the ball as well. So when I look at what the Bills have on offense, right? You got Allen, you got Diggs, and it's really kind of, this would have been a nice, fun, Diggs matchup a little bit. It would have been cool to see, but obviously we don't have our Diggs, so we're gonna we have to go on without that. But their offense isn't. I mean, it's not electric. It's me and I saw in the chat. They lost to the Patriots. They lost to the Broncos. They barely beat the Giants. They
put up 14 points against New York.
Pardon me?
They put up 14 against New York. That was it. 14.
And I don't think we want to get caught up in the match. Okay. Because every game, it's like we talked about, every game is different. Every game, things happen. It's the flow of the game. It's momentum. I think momentum is a lot. And I think confidence is a lot. And I think the Cowboys are playing with so much confidence right now that they are not really worried about anything. And I think a lot of that, you've got to give some credit to to, like you said, the offense, Dak Prescott, but really Mike McCarthy. And I kind of talked a little bit about it, but I mean, love to get your opinion on it as well as, and in the chat, is look at what Mike McCarthy's done with this offense. It's evolved. It's gotten better. And that's what you want to get, right? All right, yeah, we didn't start out. Now, I know we put up 40, whatever, against the Giants, and then We put 30 up against the Jets. But I think all of us watching, I think Kelly, you and I talked about it just doesn't seem like the offense is rolling. But this offense, it's clicking. And do we punt that much? I mean, maybe we punted against Philly once. Maybe, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem. It seems like this offense is just unstoppable, and the running game just hasn't been great. But it's been Dak Prescott, like you said, he's running when he needs to, and we talked about that. But he is reading the defenses, and he is taking what they give, and he's finding the open guys. And we also said Ferguson. I mean, look what he's been doing. So this offense is getting better and better and better. And I just, you just want to see it continue into Sunday. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, and Dak talked about, here's what I like is the attitude, the attitude and the swagger, which I 100% attribute to Mike McCarthy, because it's evolved over the past few years. Jason Garrett used to kind of give those robotic responses. And Mike McCarthy, he got a little bit of an attitude to him. Got a little bit of chip on, he's got a little bit of chip on his shoulder in the way he talks. You don't get the old programmed answers. Sometimes you get a little bit of feisty Mike McCarthy, about business Mike McCarthy. And Dak Prescott's kind of taken on, how they say that the best coaches, their players and their team starts to take on their personality. This team is starting to take on the personality of Mike. Mike McCarthy, despite what some people say, the guy he's got a little bit of a swagger to him. He's got a little bit of a confidence. He knows football, and he knows that he knows football. And so you're starting to see this team develop this little attitude along with the swagger and the confidence. Jake Ferguson, getting in people's faces, taking a big hit and popping right up and throwing the first down. Dak Prescott flexing on DBs and talking about at the press conference, if we play our best, we score 50 on this Philly team. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff that you see from the 49ers.
Yes.
Honestly. And that's what you see from them, and they go out and they back it up. Right. So the fact that you're starting to see a little bit of that nasty from this team, you're starting to see a little bit of that from this squad is really encouraging to me, because you need a little bit of nasty. You need your team to have a little bit of attitude. You need them to have that confidence, that swagger that, hey, we can step out on the field with anybody any given Sunday. And if we play our best football, we're going to whoop that ass. And that's why it's not me overlooking Buffalo. It's not me overlooking Miami next week. It's not me overlooking anybody on this schedule, because I think the Buffalo's a good football team. I think they are, especially playing at home. They're 5-2 at home. But I got the confidence in this Dallas Cowboys team because this team just seems different. And I don't want to get, hooked and reeled in again, but they do. They do. I mean, they just seem different. And we asked George Teague about it. Do they seem different? He thinks that they seem different. And I'm going to trust the guy that's been down there on the field, has watched this team, been around this team, got the vibe and the feel of this team. They feel different, Mike. They really do.
Yeah. No, and I think there's no denying that. And like you said, George Teague has been in the locker room. He's been involved with the team. He's with them on CBS, and he does all. So it does. It feels that way. You still gotta be prepared. But like you said, with Dak Prescott, what I love most is the confidence. It's like you said, the things that he says post game, the way he is during, that is a reflection of McCarthy, but it's a reflection of Dak Prescott kind of owning it. And you wonder. That 49er game, hey, let's just be honest. I mean, you make no mistake about it. We got beat down. We got embarrassed. And this team has looked different since then. Their only loss has been to Philly, at Philly, shortly after that. And, I mean, to a man, I think we both said they outplayed them. All right, we didn't get the W, but I think everyone going into Philly, with Philly coming to Dallas, I don't think there was a Cowboy fan around that was worried, that was concerned. I think we all knew we were going to smoke them. We tried to tell the Philly guys on our show. We tried to help them. We said, look, man, I don't want you guys losing your shit. You guys are going to get a beat down, and I'm just telling you it's going to happen. There's no possible way it's going to be close unless our defense doesn't show up. But there's no way you're stopping our offense. We're going to put up 35 plus points on you. Let's just see if you can put up 40. And obviously they couldn't. And I feel that way with this team, is that confidence. And you see the sounds from the sidelines. That's probably the best video, because it really gives you what this feel is. And to your point, what Dak Prescott said, about if I played better, if we played our game, we would have put 50 on them. You heard what Tank Lawrence said. We can't say it on this show because they'll end up muting us and we'll get fined. You don't think that they know that they're going to face Philly again? They're going to, I mean, we're going to face them again. And that, you know what? The Cowboys don't care.
Yeah.
And that's you say give credit because that's kind of the way the 49ers are. You saw the 49ers, they talked their crap to us. They backed it up. They went to Philly and they were doing some serious talking and they backed it up and put it on Philly. And I think that's where maybe this Cowboy team is getting that confidence and getting things rolling. And it's got you excited. It's got you excited as a Cowboy fan to know that this team, there's not a team they can't hang with. There's not a team they can't compete with. And I would much rather, I don't know if it's popular or not, I like the end of our schedule. I don't know about you. I like that we're going to play these tough teams and we're going to get tested every week. There's going to be no cupcakes and we got to go out and prove it. And we got to play playoff football from this point forward. I like it.
I do too, man, because you're going to be battle tested. These are the kind of teams you're going to play. A couple of them, Philly and Detroit, maybe teams that you see into the playoffs, right? So you're getting yourself ready at this time of the year, the crucial time of the year, to beat some of the best teams. And when you're doing that, you become battle tested. You become ready for what you're going to face in the playoffs, the kind of intensity you're going to face in the playoffs, because these matchups start to become bigger down the line. Look, let's face it, Sunday night in Philadelphia, not only is it a big matchup because of a division rival, but we're chasing down a possible number one seed. NFC East implications, number one seed home field through the playoff implications. So there was a lot to play for in that game, and I sit there and I laugh at some of these Philly fans who sit there and say, you realize we split, right? You realize you're celebrating a season split. No, what I realize I'm celebrating is we put a 20-point beat down on your ass, and we did it at home on primetime television in front of the entire world watching. We showed that we are the better team than you. We're more physical than you. And when it comes to the playoffs, we are not scared to line up and beat you again. And we did it with big-time implications on the table. This game wasn't for nothing. This game wasn't for nothing because if we drop that game, we're done in the NFC East. We don't have a chance to chase that down if we lose that game. But now, not only do we have a chance for the NFC East, we got a possibility shot at the number one seed. So don't tell me it wasn't for nothing. It was huge. There was huge implications in this game. And every game forward will have big implications.
And that's the deal. And that's what Philly wants to ride on. But to your point, 1,000% correct. Yeah, we beat them. If they win out, we don't win the NFC East and we're going to be the 5th seed. But they know they can't hang. That's what it's about. It's not winning the game. It's how you won the game. If we would have won 20-19, I don't know how confident. I don't know what everyone would say. We'd be all right, we beat them. We split. We know damn well we beat the hell out of them. It wasn't even competitive. I mean, I was at the game. Their fans around me, not because I was talking shit to them, they left at halftime because they knew it was only going to get worse. Yeah. And thankfully, Mike McCarthy, he's a gentleman, showed a little mercy, called the dogs off. To say, hey, we won't run it up too bad on you. But that's the mentality it's not winning the game, it's how you win. And that's what I keep trying to say. They say, Cowboys haven't played anybody. Oh, they've beaten the hell out of those teams, right? For the most part. I mean, we got one slip up. We'll give them that. For the most part, they have dominated. It isn't the Eagles beat the Washington 38-31 or 38-35. I forgot what the score was, but it was pretty damn bad when we played them. That it's how you win the game that I care about. And I think that's to your point. That's the mental part of this game, is giving them the confidence and getting them going. And again, it's got everybody pumped up, but let's just be honest and let's call it fair. It's not going to be a cakewalk. I mean, Buffalo it's a home field advantage. That place is going to be rocking. I saw in the chat we got someone there from New York. Are you a Bills fan or are you a Cowboys fan? I hope you're a Cowboys fan, but it's going to be rocking. I mean, that's a tough place to play. The weather's going to be favorable for us, so we definitely love that. But it's going to give you that playoff playoff atmosphere. And I think the more the Cowboys get that, the better it's going to be. Yeah. Definitely love the George Teague interview. And we got the shirts. We're going to give another plug. Someone said matching shirts, man. Cowboys Cave. If you order now, you get it before Christmas. What more could you ask for than to see Mike Tag and Kelly K9's face? Every day you could wear it. Put it on your wife, but don't do that. Put it on a – don't think of us that way. But, what more could you ask?
Oh, man.
Oh, but
I agree though, man. I think Buffalo's going to be a tough. I think Buffalo will be a tough game. It'll be a tough matchup. I mean, there's like I say, you can't just sit there and overlook anybody. But like you said, it's just a different confidence level that we've got that we're playing with. And like you said, it's how you're winning these games. It's the physicality you're winning these games with. We talked about it Monday with George again. We talked about how physical this team was going and taking the ball away from Philly. These weren't interceptions. These weren't fluke fumbles. These were guys getting the ball ripped out of their hands, which you think about that. That's what, I'm going to come take your lunch money. I'm going to come grab it and whip it out your hands. Like, that's what they was doing. They was taking the Philadelphia Eagles lunch money. They were ripping the ball out. Like, I mean, that's a physical team. That's a Ferguson lowering his head and hitting Blankenship so hard that Blankenship got taken out of the damn game. I mean, that's physicality. That's the physical play that this Cowboys team is playing with. So if a team comes up and lines up against the Cowboys and thinks we're gonna out physical these guys, well, then I got news for you, man. You're gonna be in for a dogfight because the Cowboys are gonna be punching back. So I'm all in on this Dallas Cowboys team right now. I'm just super pumped up about them and excited about what the future holds, because if you look at it, you've got the number one scoring offense in the league. We got like the top, I'm not sure statistically if we're the top, but I know we're definitely in the top 5. So we got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. So if you tell me at any given time, if you ever tell me going into a season, if you say 4 games left in the season, Cowboys got a top 5 offense, got a top 5 defense, I'm going to tell you that we've got as good a chance to win the Super Bowl as any team out there. Because years past, the defense may not have quite been on the offense's level, or it was the offense may not, it's usually been the offense is on the level, the defense is on the level. It's not usually the other way around. But it's right now, they're like mirror images of each other. It's like they're playing great on both sides of the ball. Dan Quinn's got the defense clicking. McCarthy's got the offense clicking. So this is as good as a chance that we've got. We've got the players, we've got the scheme, we've got the coaches, got the quarterback, checking all the boxes, man. And I just don't see any, and even in the run game, we sit there and we look at the run game, and obviously Hankins went down. I haven't seen how long.
It's 2 weeks. I was going to jump into that to get your opinion. So you're going to miss Hankins. I mean, he's a big part of this run defense. The Bills' run offense hasn't been great. I mean, I think they're ranked 11th. We're 10, but I mean, sometimes stats can be deceiving. I think their running backs have been more dangerous out of the backfield with Cook. But with Hankins out, I mean, what's your thoughts? I mean, obviously you got Mozzie's a rookie. He's still going through growing pains. Osa, he's been playing, obviously really well this season. Neville Gallimore is a guy, this could be opportunity for him. He's going to end up getting more snaps to kind of, we love our Neville Gallimore maybe to really kind of help this defense out. But that's where they're at. And with Hankins out, if he's out 2 weeks, that means he's out next week versus Miami. And they're more of a speed running game. So, I mean, they're more on the outside, but still, that could be a pretty decent, a big loss for this middle.
It could, man. And to address La Anderson in the chat, the weather is going to be beautiful in Buffalo. It's like 45 degrees and sunny, so it ain't gonna be bad. No snow, no rain, nothing like that. It's gonna be nice. It's always sunny in Buffalo, right? That's always sunny. Anyway, as far as Hankins goes, I think it's a big loss in terms of presence in the middle, but you've got some other guys that are on the roster that this is their opportunity to step up and kind of prove that they either deserve some more playing time or and show kind of what they're all about. Obviously, the players that you've mentioned. Now, I would say, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I know he's sitting out there. Listen, if I'm the Cowboys, man, I'm at least because it seems like every year. I know he did it last year.
I know the name. Go ahead.
I'm a Katsu, right? I'm at least giving the guy a call and saying, hey, look, man, you saw that ass whooping we put down on Philadelphia. I know because I heard rumors earlier that he was maybe thinking about going to Philadelphia and signing with Philly again. So I don't know. And I can't remember where I heard that from, if it was actually through an actual outlet or if it was a Philly fan that tweeted. Either way, he's a free agent and he's out there. I'm at least making the call. He's still a guy that can get you some quality snaps. He may not be the Sue that we're used to seeing. But listen, if I can bring that guy in while Hankins is gone, get him a little bit of playing time, I mean, I would at least make the call. I don't know if the Cowboys are at that point yet, but at this point in the season, man, when all these games we've been talking about them, they've got big time implications. I'm all in. If I'm Jerry,
Yeah.
I'm all in. So I'm doing anything I can to make sure, hey, there's no fall off here. I want to make sure that there's no fall off and this Cowboys team keeps winning and that we don't, have ourselves a liability because one guy goes down and then all of a sudden the run game goes, run defense goes to shit. So
Yeah. You leave no stone unturned. No stone unturned, with any personnel that you can get. And to your point is, if you're getting a guy now, it's not like you're getting some all-pro guy. But Sue brings some experience. He brings a nastiness. So if that opportunity, comes up, I think Dallas, they look at it a lot. Obviously, going to depend with Hankins. If it's a couple weeks, I think they could survive without him or whatever. But I never turn down guys with playoff experience, Super Bowl experience. That you can't have enough of that on your football team. So I would definitely be all for it. And what was your thoughts, looking back, I don't want to look back on the Philly game and go into it, but just something that I thought was pretty interesting being there. Didn't get a chance to really digest it till I got home. But, Stephon Gilmore and the game that he played and really this secondary. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and because when you're at the game, Kelly can attest, sometimes you don't see everything the right way, but it seemed like they were putting Gilmore was on AJ the whole game. Seemed like it to me that he was shadowing him because I kept seeing him flipping sides. I don't remember seeing that often where they had our cornerbacks. Usually they're kind of hanging to their sides, but it seemed like he took it personal. I know AJ made a comment about him, but yeah. I mean, talk about Stephon Gilmore and also really Bland comes off a bad game, but I mean, you're going to go Metcalf. I mean, you're probably going to have a bad game every now and again when you're playing, one of that type of receiver. But I mean, Devontae Smith is another good receiver. You got to give them their due. But talk about the secondary and just the continued improvement of that.
Yeah, I mean, those two receivers for Philadelphia, those are big play receivers. AJ Brown has had a great season this year. Devontae Smith has been known to catch, have some great catches. And they had a couple of passes that they dropped, just straight out dropped, that probably should have been caught. But I do attribute some of that to the coverage as well, though, because on one of the ones that Devontae Smith dropped that surely would have been a touchdown had he caught it, Bland was on him, and I mean, and on him good. It was good coverage, and it was a pretty good throw by Jalen Hurts. It was dropped, but when you've got a DB like right there on you, and he's stuck on you, sometimes those catches become a little bit more difficult than if you're just wide open, and and you've got to get burnt. Bland wasn't getting burnt. AJ, and I know that AJ got some yards and a little bit of garbage time yards. Honestly, it was more in the second half that he got a few chunk plays or whatever. But none of it was ever really, it wasn't like he had Gilmore burned at any time to where Gilmore was playing catch up. Gilmore was right there to make the tackle after every catch, push him out of bounds, throw him to the ground. I mean, those two cornerbacks played really good, man, and it's funny because I saw this. It's called I don't know the name of the podcast, but it's two guys that look like Jabba the Hutt. I posted it not too long ago on my thing. These two guys, I don't know if they're Philly fans, what they are. Two dudes that look like they've never played a game of football in their life. Talking about Deron Bland that he sucks, and the only thing that they could bring was the DK Metcalf thing, and I'm going, so one game that he struggles in, and that's a game, that's his third game in 12 days, and that's the thing that you can point to and tell me that he sucks. And there was, I've seen some stuff about Deron Bland where they talked about, him going up against some of the better receivers, and here's what it's almost like they're trying to find that something that they can push, like how they did on Trayvon Diggs his second.
I was going to say, yep.
It's almost like they're trying to find something that they can push to delegitimize Deron Bland. But we all saw how that worked out. They talked about yards given up. Trayvon Diggs comes in his third year, and then that was gone because all of a sudden he's locking people up and holding receivers to their lowest yardage total ever. Deron Bland is a damn good DB. Good DB. I've lost zero confidence in him. He had a bad game against Seattle, but it's against DK Metcalf, who is one of the top receivers in the league. He bounced back, and he answered the call against Philly. I've got no concerns about our DBs, man. I think our secondary is balling out, and I'm loving it. That's Stephen McKinley says it was the Two Nobodies podcast. It's a perfect name for him.
Yeah, that fits the bill. And you never like that because, Bland – that I thought in that Seattle game, he played a bad, obviously the first half he played a bad game, but a cornerback is the toughest position in football because it's like you said, Stephon Gilmore could play lights out, but if he gave up a touchdown at the end, that's all they're going to say. Yeah. And you got to have that mentality to recover. And the thing I'll give Bland is he tightened up in the second half and he got an interception. And, some of those things, and it was a good play, and some of those things, those guys, they don't recover from that. I mean, how many cornerbacks do you see that get drafted in the top 10, that get drafted in the top 15, and they're out of the league? Is because they can't handle the mental part of the game and the mental part of that position and getting beat, and you gotta be able to go back and bounce back. So I would say I felt better about Bland after the Seattle game, the way he battled back, and then, oh, by the way, how he bounced back in the next game and played really well against Devontae Smith. And again to the secondary, to Gilmore and Donovan Wilson, add him into the mix in the secondary as a whole, forcing turnovers. And, nothing pisses me off more, to quote my old wrestling coach, is when you make plays, and then the fans on the other team said, we gave you the game because we turned the ball over.
Yeah.
We forced those. It wasn't like he was running and just dropped it and we picked it up and ran.
Yeah,
those were forced turnovers.
Yeah. And nobody gives you the ball. Josh Allen isn't just like, hey, Bland. No, Bland's going and taking it. Stephon Gilmore went and took it. These guys go and take the ball, and it's one of those things where our defense is good. They take the ball away, and they do it to pretty much every team they play. But like you said, with cornerback being a hard position, right? There's so many things that factor into it. You've got, if for whatever reason, if your defense isn't getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and he's got all day to throw it, it makes the DB's job that much harder. And so there's a lot of things that factor into it. Defensive back having a bad day, but what I think some people will tend to forget when some of these people, they'll be critical because he's a Dallas Cowboy. If he was on their team, he'd be the best. He defensive player of the year. They'd be talking about all this stuff. He's in his second year. He's a 5th round pick, and he's in his second year. I mean, this dude is going to, by year four, this dude's been in the league. I mean, we could be talking about him as one of the top DBs in the league.
Yeah.
So,
not being able to keep him.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing is these guys continue to develop. You saw Diggs in his second year, got the 11 interceptions, but they were talking about the yards given up. Year 3, he was even better. He didn't have as many interceptions, but he was locking dudes down. He became that lockdown corner that nobody wanted to throw the ball at. And when they did try, it was a pass breakup or, he was picking balls off. And he's still a ball hawk. But, I mean, he continued that development. And if people don't think, and our DB coach is a great DB coach, I mean, he has continued to develop these guys, and I think that'll continue to happen. And Deron Bland, you're going to see a jump from year 2 to year 3. That's exciting to think about. So,
No, absolutely.
No sense of the word do I think he sucks.
No. And shout out to Al Harris. He's from my hometown down
Al
in South
Harris.
Florida. He played at our rival high school. We graduated. I'm pretty sure we graduated the same year. So I remember Ely High School. Pretty sure he was at Ely. We were at Crete. I was at Crete, but they used to beat the hell out of us. But anyway, I digress. But again, and Claiborne, I saw that name Claiborne. I don't know what you felt about Claiborne. I was all in on Claiborne. I got the shirt, got Claiborne. I got the jersey as soon as it came out, and that was a big mistake. So, but to your point is that's what I'm saying is Claiborne was rated one of the highest cornerbacks. I mean, they had him rated almost as high as Dion coming out. We trade up to get him. You think it's a gold mine, and it doesn't work out. Then you get Bland, and people forget last year. I mean, opposite Diggs, what did we had? We had Brown, or you're right, it was Brown. Then he got hurt. Then J. Lou got hurt, and I mean, Bland. I don't want to say saved our season as far as the defense, but I mean, he's come in tough situation. I guess that's what I'm trying to spit out the best way I can. He's had to replace Diggs this year. They're our number one corner who goes down, and Bland has to step in and do it. And he's done a remarkable job. So that's why I say this is a Pro Bowl year for him. You could argue an all-pro season for him. So I'm not, I got nothing but love for him. And talking about the defense, we'll finish up with this, is our D-line against their O-line. I know I got it wrong last time, but I'm pretty sure this McGregor is the McGregor, right? McGovern is the McGovern from the Cowboys. So I know he came out and said that they gotta play with confidence and they've got to stick together and this and that. But you got to think Parsons, you got to think Tank, Sam Williams. I mean, he's kind of shown a little flashes, but he was my bold prediction before the season with double-digit sacks. That's probably obviously not going to happen. But Fowler. I mean, we've got these pass rushers, and could be giving Josh Allen a lot of problems.
I think we could. I absolutely think we could. I was trying to look it up and see how many times that he is. Maybe the chat can help me. I always forget. Instead of grabbing the phone, I can always help.
Yeah, just ask them. They got the computer.
I asked the chat guys, how many times has Josh Allen been sacked this year? I'm curious how many times he's been sacked, because I feel like their offensive line has been kind of shaky. I think that's why they don't run the ball very well. And I think that's why they've probably had some of their issues is that offensive line. I like our defensive line against anybody, but I certainly like what they'll be able to do against Josh Allen. Because here's the thing: if you start getting pressure on him, then he starts to make those questionable throws. Because Josh Allen's kryptonite is he tends to think that he can make every throw.
Yeah,
and some of those throws you definitely should not make. And if he tries to make them against this Cowboys defense,
18, that's low.
18. Yeah, that's
low.
That's what I was wondering. That is pretty low. So I guess maybe their offensive line isn't as bad as what I thought. Pretty damn good. Well, I mean, then the Cowboys are definitely going to have to get after him. They're definitely going to have to get after him, because that's you're going to want to get more. You're going to want to get pressure on him and create pressure. You don't want to keep him comfortable back there in the pocket, because they still do. They've got some talented wide receivers with Diggs. And Gabe Davis can be a guy that can go off at times. Dalton Kincaid's a young tight end that has shown he's got some big play ability. But overall, man, I feel like the Cowboys got the more complete team. I feel like they've got the better team. I feel like they've got the better coach, better quarterback. I feel like every area there, we're just better than Buffalo, top to bottom. And I think that it will be a tough game. But I think if the Cowboys play their game, I think the Cowboys will beat the Bills. Yeah,
no, and I think so too. We're going to get into some predictions, but we had our man EJ pop in. So what's up, EJ?
What's up, EJ?
Obviously, boys in the zone. I watched the show last night. My voice is coming back, but I apologize. I mean, we're going to have. I don't want to say what it was going to be, because someone's going to clip it. But the three of us were supposed to be on and have a good time. So we're going to definitely do a rain check on it. There was a couple things. One, my voice was bad. Two, the wife, I got to be careful. I've been doing these shows. I end up being on a show every day. And You know, I don't
Yeah,
want to.
no, I've had a, I mean, I don't have a wife, so I'm going to worry about it, but I did a Monday, a Tuesday, and now a Wednesday. So
Yeah, so it sometimes it can take the toll on the home life, but definitely great show. You guys killed it, and if you guys haven't seen it, go back and watch Boys in the Zone. Hit that subscribe while you're at it. If you're not subscribed, EJ does great things. The other thing he does pretty damn well is fantasy football because it looks like that EJ. We have a Cowboys Cave Fantasy Football League. For those who don't know, next year we'll be getting in new people. So we will have a new round of guests coming in, and except the defending champion, he stays. So if EJ is the defending champion, he's going to stay. But you and him got to buy. So you guys both know fantasy football very well. But one of the best things was Disco D started out 5-1 on fire, went on an 8-game losing streak. And I don't know if that was as crazy of a stat or Mark, who drafted all Dallas Cowboys. I think he won 5 games.
won 5 games.
He didn't have the worst record in the league. So I don't know who had the worst record in the league. Maybe Mikey Schefter can remind us, but I forgot who had the worst record in the league. But the playoffs are starting. So it's definitely going to be fun.
I was gonna let Mikey know that I had an issue. I tuned into their show the other night, and I was gonna comment on it, but I had some things going at the time. But I did watch the show. Actually, I think I caught it after, which is why I could. They had me at 8-5. I'm 9-5. I'm the number 2 seed. So,
they screwed you, yeah, because you got to buy.
Yeah, put some respect on my name there in those standings. They had me sitting at 8-5. I was like, hey, 9-5 with a bye. So let's.
Well, and Jimmy Dee, the co-host on Monday, worst record. I don't know if it's because he's a Falcons fan, Kelly. I don't know if maybe that's what it is, and he's used to losing. But he had the worst record, and I will give props to my son Mikey. I gave him a couple life lessons yesterday. One, give him props for the comeback. He ends up sneaking into the playoffs. But I got a message from someone that said, hey, man, you tell Mikey you don't follow back. And so I went to say, hey, so I texted him during the show. I said, hey, man, if you don't, you're getting more on Twitter. You're grown up. You're in college. You want to get more involved in this stuff. When people follow you, especially if they're Cowboy fan, and especially if they're fans of the Cowboys Cave and Kelly and I, you better be following people back. And he didn't even know how to do it. He goes, "Oh my God, look at all these people! I forgot to follow back." So we gave some lessons. But I tell you, the Cowboys Cave Fantasy League, it's been a lot of fun. I didn't make the playoffs. I want to say there's an asterisk next to mine. Some very questionable games, some situations that didn't work in my favor. So I'm the disgruntled person. But someone is going to get a Cowboys Cave ring. That's what we do. Give championship rings to champions. We don't give you ribbons, and you get nothing for second place. This isn't a Philly channel. If you don't win it, you get nada. You get nothing. So hopefully one of you guys will win it. But just want to give a plug to the Fantasy Football League as it's wrapping up in the playoffs. It's been a lot of fun. We love everyone who's been involved in it. Obviously, Cuts by Jones is in it. I'll start forgetting names, but I know Bugsy's is in it. And Doug's in it. Doug was talking smack to Vince. Vince barely makes the playoffs. He was telling everyone he's going to run it. So he's another one that so it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be interesting.
I will say that having the bye week, having the bye does pay off. So it does pay to be able to get that. I got C.J. Stroud as my quarterback, and he's in concussion protocol this week. I was getting a little nervous. I thought, man, if I don't get this bye and I got to get another quarterback, I may be out one and done in the playoffs. But C.J. Stroud, should be ready to go by the time I got to play in the next round. So hopefully I'll survive in advance. But the first round bye does absolutely help out if you got some injuries on your team. So
and Mikey did a little trash talking, so he got the phone with Jamar Chase and sent him the ring. So Mikey feels confident he's gonna just make that monster comeback to get a championship ring. But more importantly, the ring that we want is a Super Bowl ring. Kelly and I always say the team we're playing next is just another team in our way to our destiny of what we want to get. So it's the Bills. So we want some predictions. We want maybe a bold prediction Also, prediction of the score, some of the things that you think will happen, and bold predictions. That's exactly what they are. It's saying something bold. So drop them in the chat. We want to play them off. We want to read them off. But Kelly, it's going to be Sunday. It's going to be the primetime game, as Cowboys always are. The prime game in the afternoon. Give us a summary. What you think? How's it going to play out?
Yeah, well, first of all, when I just wanted to say something, and I was reminded last night when I was on Boys in the Zone with EJ of a bold prediction I made before the season started, and that bold prediction was Dak Prescott for MVP, Michael Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year. It's a prediction I made on the show.
You did.
And right now, still 4 weeks left to go. But I would say that that's still a legit possibility for both of those things to happen. So just want to kind of, say that if that happens, your boy called that as bold.
That's pretty. I tell you what, we will. These things are time stamped, so we will mark the tape. We marked it, and if that happens, that's we're going to be replaying that just so everyone knows that we got Nostradamus on our show. So we're gonna have to. I don't know if that's ever happened. I mean, I gotta imagine.
I don't think it has. I don't think that's ever happened. That would be pretty awesome if it did happen. But so here's my prediction for the game. I've got this one going to be a little bit tighter than the games that we've played weeks in the past. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think we're going to score a ton of points because I think this is a game that's not really going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a physical game. I think it's going to be a game that's predominantly defensive game, but I do still think the offense will still be able to get theirs. I still think Dak Prescott has a good day. So I'm going to actually say that the Cowboys are going to win this game. I'm going to go with the score of 33-28. Final score there for the Cowboys, 33-28. And as far as a bold prediction, my bold prediction is going to be that Dak Prescott has more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns in the game on Sunday.
Okay.
So I'm going to say he's going to go 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's that would be bold because the man's been throwing a lot of touchdowns and that would be something. And to say, just to run through I see a lot of Cowboy wins. A couple interesting stats from Ethan. We're averaging less than 24 points per game on the road this season. So he went 27-19. I know our man Cuts 28-17. Some people got Dak throwing four touchdowns. Help me out with throwing these up while I yap about what I think is going to happen, Kelly. And I think, to your point, it's not going to be a high scoring. Oh, we can get into Cam Newton after this. I forgot about that. I had that mentally written down. I think it's going to be a dirty game. I think it's going to be a physical game. You've got a desperate Buffalo Bills team. Let's make no mistake about it. They're hanging on to their playoff lives. They've got a lot going on. They're going to be coming out guns a-blazing. Young and Dion. There you go. 94 was the last time it happened. We love our chat. They always got the great stuff. So, but I'll say this: I think Dallas is going to win. I think it's going to be lower scoring. I think it's going to be 27-24. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be one of those games. Dak Prescott is going to lead the charge in a fourth quarter comeback, and Dallas Cowboys will end up winning it. And, the bold prediction I got is I think Gallup is going to lead the team in receiving, and he'll have a pair of touchdowns. I don't know. I just got this feeling. He's been quiet. Saw a little bit of him against Philly. I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to CeeDee Lamb. I don't think their secondary is that good. I know they're the one guy got hurt, so I think their main guy was out for the year and stuff. So I think Dak's going to have a nice game, but I just think it's going to be one of those dog fights, like you said. I just think it's going to be a dog fight. It's going to have that atmosphere. It's in the Northeast. That's just kind of what you feel. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be one of those games, but I think Dak Prescott's going to impress again, and he's going to give us a game-winning game-winning drive to seal the deal. Some people got Dallas winning big, 38-19.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. This game just doesn't give me that feel. It just doesn't give me that feel of a blowout. I hope you're right. Nothing would make me happier than to beat the hell out of them in their stadium. Trust me. I would love to. I'd love for some payback. But I mean, if you're going to win the game, Kelly, would you rather rip their hearts out, or would you rather? Oh, he's sneezing. Good job. Would you rather rip their hearts out, or would you rather blow them out and just be done with it?
I like some of these close games, because especially if I'm there at the game. I'm not going to be at the game, so I'm going to be at home. When I'm at home and I'm not there, I kind of like a little bit of stress-free game. I mean, I don't mind entertainment. I don't mind cheering, but I'd love to see Dallas go in there and dominate Buffalo. I'd love to see it, because if they continue to dominate good teams like that, then, you know, I don't know. It just feels better to be able to be like, you know what, we didn't just beat that team, we dominated them, right? You know, it feels better to be able to say that, right? Because it just feels better knowing that we pimp slapped the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't just beat you; we beat you by 20. It wasn't even close. You squeaked out a win on your home field with some lucky calls and some lucky plays that went your way. But this time around, when it came down to you coming into our house, we smacked you around. There was no doubt about who's better. I'd love to come in and go into Buffalo and smack them around on their home turf. Plus, like you said at the beginning of the show, the whole, you know, mocking the Cowboys thing, mocking the Dak dance or whatever. I know some of those guys aren't even on the team anymore. That's fine. I don't care. Still the Buffalo Bills. It was still you guys that did it. So you're guilty by association. So go on, take this ass whooping that's coming, because it's coming. So that's what I want to see, man. But, you know, if it's a close game, that's fine too, man. Because when it comes down to it, if it's a game of inches, man, we got a little secret weapon, and his name is Brandon Aubrey. And the guy just don't miss. No. So if it comes down to that, we've seen some games in Buffalo. We've seen some Buffalo games that have ended in field goals. The 52-yard field goal with the Tony Romo on the Monday Night Football, where he throws 5 picks and we win it with a 52-yard field goal that we had to kick twice. Okay. Yeah. We've seen some games come down to the last minute in the wire with Buffalo and get ended by a kicker. So if it comes down to the kicker, I'm putting my money on Aubrey.
Yeah, and I think back to that 5-interception game that Romo had at Buffalo. We ended up winning. But I don't know if we need to do this. I don't know. All you guys hanging out with us in the chat, I think it's only fair. Everyone needs to type, I'm sorry. They need to apologize to Aubrey. I'll be the first to apologize, because there ain't a person, a Cowboy fan alive, and don't tell me that you believed in him, because if you did, you're a liar. But every single one of us were pissed off when we signed this guy. And who is this guy coming on the team? Didn't even kick in college. He didn't do anything, right? He didn't kick in college, I don't think. He played soccer or something.
Played soccer.
I think everyone needs to say, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. We're not, you know, we're not above that. We're, you know, if we're wrong, we say we're wrong. So I'll be the first to say, Brandon Aubrey, I'm sorry. I am so thankful that you're on this team. And that is the reason why I'm sitting here in my Cowboys cave, and I'm not part of the Dallas Cowboys scout organization, because I can't make decisions like that. I would have passed on them. But so I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Brandon Aubrey, because I did not have confidence in you at all. I thought you were a bum. And I said, who the hell is this guy that they're bringing in that's never kicked? I said, come on, man. This is what we're going with. And I said, you know, might as well bring back Maher for that. And thank my lucky stars we didn't do that shit. Oh, my goodness. I know. But, you know, it's just something that I remember saying. But Brandon Aubrey is,
he missed a bunch of kicks. Remember that?
Yeah, and we talked about it, man. I talked about it with EJ last night on his show. It's just amazing what he's done. And you know, it's pretty cool, man, about some of the records that have been set. That's the other thing that EJ had brought up last night that I want to kind of talk to some people in the cave about. You know, you've got Bland with the interceptions, the pick sixes. You've got Brandon Aubrey, the first one to make. I mean, he's made all of his field goals, and he's done that. What is, I think 30? I think he's 30 for 30. I think
30.
30 for 30. Then you've got Micah Parsons. He's not alone in this record, but the third player in NFL history to have his first 3 seasons of back-to-back 12 sacks, at least 12 sacks in a season. So, I mean, and then, you look at a guy like, Dak Prescott kind of making a little bit of run. I don't think he's chasing down any type of history or anything, but I mean, could win MVP. You've got a lot of special things happening on this Cowboys team this year, which just, also lends to some of the confidence of some of the things we're seeing with this team. So it's pretty cool time for this Cowboys team and for us Cowboys fans. So, got to live these moments and enjoy these moments while we can, because we've talked about it before. These moments don't come around too often, so you got to enjoy them, man.
Yeah, it's been it has been a special season. I don't know. This is. I don't know what you do, Kelly. I share this. So when I go to a game, you get those towels at every game now. So this is what I do. So what was that? The Giants.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. What's that? The Eagles.
Yep.
We got Seattle. You were at that one, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Seattle. We got there's it. What did we have? 56-14. We beat Washington. What did the Eagles do? We had the Jets and then the New England game. So I saved these and I put the date and I put the score, and I don't know. They win the Super Bowl. It kind of, I don't know, brings a special thing for me. So that's what I do with my towels. If they don't win the Super Bowl, I do what I did last year, and I'll be giving these away in the cave to our fans. So you get a custom one from the game, from my seat. I even put the date and I put the score, and I even signed a couple for people, believe it or not. The only thing I will say is I talked to Kelly about this, and Shady and Mark. There was an imposter in Dallas. There was an imposter in Dallas taking pictures with people saying they're Mike Tag, and I had a guy message me and say, thank you it was a pleasure meeting you and taking a picture. And I'm like, you've done it too, Kay. You take pictures of people and this, and I always try and get one with my camera because I like to post them to make sure I hit. But there's some people you miss. Things get busy. And I'm like, and he wears a mask. So I'm like, I know damn well I didn't take a picture. He just doesn't look familiar. And I follow him on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook and stuff. And sure enough, I messaged him back. I said, man, I wanted to play it off. I was like, yeah. I said, I don't know if I met you. If I did, I'm sorry. I said, I was drunk a little bit. I mean, we had it was a wild game and a lot of fun. I said, can you send the picture? Because I don't have it. He sends me the picture and it ain't even me. It's that, what did Eminem say? It's a generic version. It wasn't me. So it was funny. It was funny. But anyway, yeah. And getting on Cam Newton. What's your thoughts on that?
My thought is, as far as the whole Cam Newton thing, because what he said was, for those of you that don't know, Cam Newton came out and said that Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott are nothing more than game managers. And I will say that, Cam Newton had some good seasons, and he was a guy that was a dual threat guy. He ran the ball a lot. He used his legs. But at the end of the day, Cam Newton played 11 seasons, and, his style wasn't conducive to playing long-term because of the way that he played. And while he did have he had some good seasons. I wouldn't say he was a bad passer, because he definitely had some good seasons passing the ball. But he played 11 seasons. Dak has played 8, and actually not really 8, 7 and a quarter if you figure it. And Dak already has the same amount of total passing touchdowns that Cam Newton had his entire 11-year career. So game manage that, right?
Well, and the thing is just your opinion on it, Kelly. When you hear game manager, that term gets thrown around. Gunslinger gets thrown around if you throw a lot of interceptions. They call you a gunslinger, right? That was Brett Favre was the gunslinger through all them interceptions. But he was just, and then the game manager is the guys that protect the ball and kind of play within the. But isn't every quarterback a game manager? Aren't you distributing the ball? Aren't you going with your reads, and you're taking what the defense gives you, and you want to limit your mistakes, and you want to go down the field, and you want to do all these things, and you want to call an audible when it needs to be called, and you want to. Isn't that what a game manager is? I mean, isn't that kind of stupid? I don't know. I just think it's an overused word that they try to use to demean a quarterback, to show him as not to be not great. But wasn't like Peyton Manning the ultimate game manager? I mean, the guy was checking and calling plays at the line and moving everything around. Isn't that a game manager, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, technically a manager period is somebody who leads and kind of directs his proverbial team, as you might call it, whatever. I mean, that's technically a manager. So yeah, if you're in there and you're the quarterback, then technically you are a game manager. But game manager has a negative connotation in the NFL. It just does, because people think about a game manager and that's a guy who can't put a team on his back. It's a guy who they have to cater the offense around him and be like, hey, there's certain plays we can't draw up here because your physical talents limit you from making these plays, right? You cannot show me one play on that field that Dak Prescott can't make. That's how I know he's not a game manager. He can make every throw, sideline throws, over the middle throws, over the top of the DB. He can drop it right over the top of somebody's shoulder into the breadbasket. He can run the ball. He can pull it out of the running back's belly and run the ball. He can be physical when he's running. He can put a guy on his ass when he's running. Like, Dak can do everything that you ask a quarterback to do. Anything that you ask a quarterback to do, Dak can do it. So that's not a game manager. That's not a game manager. It's and you know what? Jeff said it perfect right there. He said he's a field general.
Yeah, and I would almost say the others are caretakers, like Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco. Yeah. They had the ultimate defenses. Brad Johnson, in a way with Tampa, had this great defense. I would call you the caretaker of the offenses. Don't make mistakes.
Right.
A punt isn't bad when you got a defense that's just going to shut everyone down. Dallas Cowboys, Dak has proven he can win a shootout. He can dominate. He can come from behind. He's done all those things. So I would say, is the way you look at it is, take Dak Prescott off the Cowboys. What's their record? I mean, they're not this team. And I would make that argument for probably 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL. So I hate when former players, and then it makes me sound, maybe I'm hurting myself, because sometimes I catch myself doing it sometimes. Well, back in our day, but Cam Newton really, was it you who tweeted that? I mean, I'll take Aaron Rodgers' word for it before I take Cam Newton. I mean, if Joe Montana comes out, Tom Brady comes out and criticize, Troy Aikman criticizes a quarterback, I'm going to take it. I'll probably take it to heart. Cam Newton, I don't think I'm going to take it to heart. He had a nice couple years, but I mean, he did not, his longevity and his, he was not to the level of the guys that we mentioned. I don't think he was he's not even close to the level of Dak Prescott.
No, and that's the thing. Dak Prescott's probably 1 year away. Dak Prescott right now, Cam Newton's got 32,000 yards passing. I know he's got a lot more rushing touchdowns and rushing yardage, but Dak Prescott will catch Cam Newton in basically 2 fewer seasons.
Yeah.
So as a passer, Dak Prescott's way more polished. He's the better passer, period, which in my opinion makes you the better quarterback. Because yes, you can be a dual threat quarterback, but what did being a dual threat quarterback cost Cam Newton? He played 11 seasons. Dak is he's on his 8th season right now. And my guess is he plays for at least another 5, at least.
Easily.
So, I mean, then you're talking about a 13-year career. And by the time that happens, I mean, he'll probably be at 40,000, 40+ thousand yards. And Cam Newton sitting down there at 32. Dak Prescott has the ability, in my opinion, to end up, depending on what he does in the playoff, his playoff success is going to be what will ultimately determine it. But if Dak Prescott goes out and wins a Super Bowl this year, Dak Prescott's going to end up a Hall of Fame quarterback. If he wins one Super Bowl is all he's going to need. He doesn't win them in multiple. He wins one Super Bowl. He's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I know you've talked about it. He could end up being talked about as one of the greatest Cowboys quarterbacks to play the game. And I know people say, well, Troy Aikman, he got the 3, but we're talking about his overall career. Dak is still yet to have a losing season through 8 years.
That's impressive.
That's impressive, man. That's not easy to do, man. It's not easy to do. And then if he goes on and wins a Super Bowl, he'll be the quarterback that ended the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl drought. Because think about that. Playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys is a high pressure. I mean, that's as high as pressure as it gets. I don't know that there's any position in all of sports that faces more scrutiny and more pressure. In fact, there isn't a position. I'm going to just go out and say that. There is not a position has more scrutiny and pressure than being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. There's not. And so if Dak Prescott can end that drought, I mean, Dak Prescott's made for life.
Yeah, I mean, he's a made man. He's a made man. And I think he's going to win a Super Bowl. I think he wins a Super Bowl, and I think it. I would argue. I think with this team, if everything stays together, multiple Super Bowls. I just feel so good about the culture and the fit of this team and everything that's kind of gone together with them. And anything could happen, right? I mean, it's we say winning a Super Bowl is the hardest thing. It's like Philly, they can hold that one, and they should very proudly hold that one. But how many years did it take to get that? 50-something years. I mean, the 49ers, I mean, we have to hear it from the 49ers. They hadn't won a Super Bowl since 94, 95. If you want to say it's the year, then we'll go ahead and say it's 96 to give us one last year. We could do that too. But it's hard. The Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight, which was amazing. They didn't win. Haven't won one. It is hard. The people of the generation now look at a Tom Brady and like, oh my God, the Patriots won 6, and then Tom Brady wins one at Tampa. That ain't normal. No. Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl. Brett Favre won Super Bowl. Drew Brees won Super Bowl. It's hard. Trent Dilfer's won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino hasn't won a Super Bowl. It is hard to win a Super Bowl. So I guess what I'm saying is if he gets it, that's what killed Tony Romo. Tony Romo's career is just defined by playoff success. And I think with Dak Prescott, he's in that same thing. He's got to have the playoff success.
And one more thing that I'll add to that, and this is going in a little bit different direction, but when it comes to like overall success and how somebody's career is viewed, they're going to look at Mike McCarthy in a whole new way.
Yeah.
There's not been any head coach that's won 2 Super Bowls on 2 separate teams. If Mike McCarthy can take this Cowboys team and end that Super Bowl drought, and not only will he have done that, he'll now have won a Super Bowl with 2 different franchises. The only coach.
No one's won with 2.
Nobody's ever done that. Never been done. So, wow. I mean, if he can do that, that's huge for McCarthy's legacy as well, because I think right now as it stands, Mike McCarthy's a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. That's typically what you need. If you get 1 Super Bowl on your resume, probably going to go in the Hall of Fame, especially if you have a lot of winning seasons. He's done that with Green Bay. Now he's doing it with Dallas. So if he wins a Super Bowl, same thing for Mike McCarthy. He not only will he go into he'll be talked about as one of the best coaches ever. And think about that, with all the criticism that he's got and all the flack that he's got from the media, how they've criticized him, how they've talked about him. I mean, it totally changes his narrative. And now you're looking at him going, is Mike McCarthy, it's the question will be asked, is Mike McCarthy the best coach in the game? And there's a lot of coaches, a historic history of guys, but he will have done it with 2 different franchises and 2 of the most storied franchises in the NFL.
I mean, winning in Green Bay, winning in Dallas is about as big as it's going to get in the NFL. I mean,
absolutely.
San Francisco and Pittsburgh would probably be, close there right with it. You can argue. But, I mean, and again, the seasons that he's had in Dallas, you're getting ready to have 3, more than likely 12-plus win seasons in a row. I don't think that's ever happened in Cowboys history. I know we had 22 straight winning seasons and this and that, but Dak Prescott and his winning never had a losing season. I mean, there's just so many good things to go for. So it is. I mean, it's good, man. We got to keep it going. The mojo has to stay. We appreciate everyone. All you guys been hanging with us. We're going to be live. If Kelly's up, he'll be with me. But if not, we'll be live Sunday morning. We'll have a little show.
I will, man. I will.
Be there?
I will. I'll be up. Yeah, I'm not actually. So I have 0 plans going out, doing anything this weekend because I'm heading to Texas next weekend. So I'm kind of making sure everything's ready around the house, stuff like that. So I'm not planning on doing anything but chilling, relaxing, watching the game on Sunday. So I will be up and in the cave bright and early, bushy tail.
Bright and early. You got a Bloody Mary in your hand. We're going to get things right, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to have that. May have a couple special people popping in. I know our man Greg's going to pop in, but I'm going to tell you this. One of my best friends growing up, he lives in Carolina now. He moved, and he's an Eagle fan. He's an Eagles fan. He's been to the game with me back at Texas Stadium, and I'm welcoming him into my home. And he's going to be coming up. We're going to be hanging out. We used to, as kids, watch football. That was the big thing in the Tag household. All of us liked different teams. Nobody liked the same team, which made it a lot of fun with all our friends. It was Bears, it was Dolphins, Broncos, Cowboys, Eagles, Bills, all these teams. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be watching football together. But if he's up, I may have him pop in just because I want to hear him say, because the thing I'll tell you guys is, I never rub it in people's faces. And he'll tell you that. I'm going to make sure he's going to confirm it. When we play, I haven't tweeted him or talked to him. I haven't said a word to him since the game because he knows. Nothing needs to be said. I have friends that like to talk noise, and they never call me unless we lose, and then all of a sudden they come. You know how that is, Kelly. That's kind of a nature thing, but I don't ever do it. So we're going to have a good time, but I see the people still here. If you guys haven't hit that alert, or not alert, hit that hit the like, also hit the bell, because that way you know when we're on. And more importantly, if you hadn't subscribed, you hit that subscribe. Kelly and I, this channel, in a short time, we have surpassed 200. We're now over 260,000 views. And it's all to you guys and the support of the channel. If Kelly kept his language clean, we'd be putting his post-game shows on there, but he gets a little nasty, and they don't allow that kind of stuff. So I'm still working on Kelly. We're going to get a PG Kelly to do some reels, because that's another good thing you guys get to see. So all of that is to you guys, and it's really a big thank you for the whole channel. And again, the shirts are here, Tag and K9, Cowboys Cave. You get them in time for the playoff run. You get them in time. They're in 4 different colors. We've got 4 different colors. So if you don't, I like the navy. I think the navy looks good. I saw gray. Some people have posted. And when you get the shirt, post it on Twitter, because we want to show that love and make sure people know, hey, man, it's a good looking shirt. That way you guys are vouching for us. So definitely do that. Hit the like, subscribe, share. We've got some great stuff coming on. Sometimes I'll drop morning shows. Kelly did a show after the game. He, it was kind of like a confession, like when you go into you go into the booth and you just kind of let it all out. It was very entertaining. It was heartfelt, and I think those are the best times, is when you get that natural reaction and natural feel from the game. So it was really cool. So I just wanted to say that. Kelly, I'll let you wrap it up, but just big thanks to everyone for always coming into the cave and supporting us. Everyone in the chat. I see y'all. I can't hit the button because Kelly screwed up my system I had here. But Kelly, I'll leave it with you, man. You end the show.
All right, man. I'm gonna let Jeff know. He had asked. He said, "What time was the show?" It's 8:00 Central Standard Time, so 9:00 if you're on the East Coast. Don't
he can swear on Twitter, just not on YouTube. You guys remember 2 Live Crew? I grew up on 2 Live Crew. They had the nasty version and they had the clean version. They played 2 versions of every record that they did. That's all I'm asking Kelly to do. Do your Twitter one and then do a quick recap on YouTube. That's all. Go ahead, Kelly. I apologize.
All right, man. No, I just wanted to say, yeah, the show is at it's at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday is when Mike jumps on. And, sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. It just kind of depends on what's going on and if your boy's hungover. But, yeah, we're starting, we're getting on the show, and we've had some I've started to kind of jump on and do some post-game stuff. I did that the other day. That was I think, and then Mike's done a few things like that, so you guys can jump on sometimes post-game. But if you hit the subscribe and then you hit that little bell up there, it'll give you a notification as soon as we go live. You'll get an alert on your phone. You'll see it pop up on your phone. You'll know that we're live. You can jump on. The other night, Sunday night, it was after midnight when I got on here, and we ended up getting a little over 40 people in the chat. Some of them were some Eagles fans that were wanting to wanting to give me some crap, but I wasn't really reading them. I was seeing the names of the people that I knew, and I was I just honestly I kind of didn't even really see the chat. I had been drinking so much that I couldn't really keep up with the chat, so I just let it go. But anyway, you guys, if you're on the show and you're subscribed, you get to see stuff like that, and you'll get notifications knowing that we're on. So I'm running the control boards here, and I'm trying to figure out what we got a video to end this with, and I'm trying to figure out which one of them was and what it's titled. And I'm trying to, because we want to end the show on the right note. But hey, guys and gals, anyone I'm not.
Jeff, put in what your Twitter handle is. I apologize. I get a lot of follows, and it's hard to keep up with them. So for me, if you would just put in the message what your handle is, and I'll make sure. And that goes to anybody. If I'm not following you, just put it in the message or let me know, and I'll make sure that happens. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. Nope. So just make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that's went out and got the merch from Twisted Gorilla, the website, and picked up their t-shirts. Again, let's hit there and show that real quick before we get out of here. Those are the t-shirts right there. Not too late to get those for Christmas, for yourself, friends, family, whatever. Just go and copy some gear, man. These are good, nice, comfortable shirts. Fit good, look good, and you're supporting the channel, supporting the show, and we get to do things and continue to grow this channel and do things for you guys and have different prizes, different rewards. We've talked about 5,000 subscribers. You'll get to attend a game with Mike. You can pick. You can go with Mike. You can go with me. You can say to hell with both of you. I want to take somebody else, but they're club level seats. My boy Mike over there, he's got all the goods for it. So. Well, with that, you guys, it's been a great show. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate everything. We'll see you all again Sunday morning. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
That's it, man. I'll leave you with this. Take care, guys. Have a good one. See you Sunday.
Take it over. Yeah.